Bonjour, good morning, welcome all of you. So here we are going to discuss on how shall the child already be the man. That is the question before us. Because mother consolement mother of course defines deliberately she wants to explain the things to lot of depth. Sure, as per it is taken from Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, that is Book 10, Canto 3, The Debate of Love and Death. So, this topic in this session of Savitri summarization, we are going to discuss in brief. This is only the gist, only the summarization portion. Here we can read a couple of lines from here. O death, thou lookest on an unfinished world, thou lookest on an unfinished world, assailed by thee and its road unsure, peopled by imperfect minds that is imperfect and ignorant lives. And saist the God is not and all is vain. How can you claim? How can you, of course, materialize the things? Prove it. Still in the quotes, a mother tries to explain. How shall the child already be the man? Because he is ignorant infant, shall he never grow? That is a beautiful argument. Because he is ignorant, shall he never learn? In a small fragile seed, a great tree lurks. In a teeny gene, a thinking being is sought, a little element in a little sperm. It grows and is a conqueror and a sage. Then let us come to the beginning. Let us see. And Savitri answers to Almighty Death. O dark browed sophist of the universe who veils the real with its own idea. Because it is your characteristic and you are doing like this. Who veils the real with its own idea, hiding with brute objects nature's living face, masking eternity with thy dance of death. That is what you keep doing. Then we can little a bit we can find an estate of the sorrow of the world, champion of a harsh and sad philosophy. Just listen, O death, thou speakest truth and but truth that slays. I answer to thee with the truth that saves. Truth is same, but actually how it is working, what is the style of working and in you and me. You speakest the truth, but the truth that slays. I answer to thee with the truth that saves. Again, we can a little bit know a big room. Uh, he made of nothingness is a living room, the Lord, the divine. So the supreme we are taking care, the supreme. He made of nothingness is a living room, and the night a process of eternal night, and death a spur towards immortality. God wrapped his head into from sight in matter's scowl. He himself deliberately he has done it. His consciousness dived into inconscient depths. All knowledge seemed a huge darkness science. Infinity or a boundless zeros formed. His abysms of bliss became insensible deeps. Eternity a blank spiritual vast. That's what deliberately he has done, nothing to worry. Then a spirit moved in black immensities and built a thought in ancient nothingness. A soul was lit in God's tremendous void, a secret burning glow of the nascent fire. In Nihil's gulf, his almighty puissance wrought. That's what we can see. And later we can find very nice description because it is a long one, of course. Now, through mind's windows stares the demigod, hidden behind the curtains of man's soul. He has seen the unknown, looked on truth's veilless face. Again, a ray has touched him from the eternal sun, motionless, voiceless in foreseen depths. He stands awake in supernature's lights. So now we can go a little bit forward. Sri Aurobindo quotes because mother explains like this. Our imperfection towards perfection toils. The body is the chrysalis of a soul. The infinity holds the finity in its arms. Time travels towards a revealed eternity. Then all here bears witness to his secret might. In all we feel his presence and his power. A blaze of his sovereign glory is the sun. Just imagine how who really the Lord is. A glory is his gold and a glimmering moon. A glory is his dream of purple sky. A march of his greatness are the wheeling stars. His laughter of beauty breaks out in green trees. His moments of beauty triumph in a flower. So we can go a little bit. He has built a world in unknowing void. His forms he has massed and from infinitesimal dust. Later we find here. She lulled the omniscient into nascent sleep. Omniscience on inertia's black sea drove, trod perfectly with divine unconscious steps. His knowledge he disguised as ignorance. The eternal space is seen through drifts of time. His knowledge he disguised as ignorance. His good showed in evil's monster bed, made error a door by which truth could enter in. So you can find even wisdom, aware of the roads of God, is a partner in the deep, disastrous game. So we are moving forward towards the next before going. So let us summarize whatever we have gone through till now. So this is we know um, Book 10, Canto 3, the death of debate of love and death. Here, mother first course, because initially last chapter we saw the chapter ended with the Lord of Death's antithesis. So we will start Savitri replies to the Almighty Death. O dark-hued, cunning originer, who hidest eternity with thy dance of death, hides eternity with thy dance of death, who weavest the ignorant mind into screen, who turnest sense into a false witness. Thou speakest the truth that slays. I shall answer with the truth that saves. Again, about the God already we have seen. God made this world of matter his starting point of journey, in which he discovers himself. He covered his head with the cowl of matter, number one. Infinity took on the form of a boundless zero. All knowledge seemed to be darkness science, all bliss and insentience. The adventure of the spirit into time started. Because he has deliberately done so, so now itself the adventure has started. Adventure of spirit into time started. The pilgrimage of the soul into the cosmos, God's puissance commenced work. Things took shape in the void. Life awoke in matter. Mind in life. Thought formed itself in the mind. Man stood erect. He fast the fast of the creatures on earth to do so. That is man. Mind, life, and the body. It got evolved. He faced and conquered the powers and the laws that rule the world. He had seen the unknown. A ray of the eternal sun has touched him. Though man now is for the first time among all the brutes and of animals, of course, among all his coming forward, he is the first to come forward. O death, thou lookest on an incomplete world and sayest that there is no God and all is in vain. This is your claim. Material nature is still in a travel and labors through the ignorance and imperfection to reach the change back into God, because from there it all emerged and now itself they are coming to unite with it towards Him, all return back. The body is the chrysalis of a soul. In all that is the secret presence and the might of the all wonderful. We can find here that beautiful one. Then this world is the outer garb of the God. Whatever you see, everything is on only the outward aspect. So just imagine all is his passion play. A transcendent wisdom seeks to meet her Lord in the darkness of the night. God plays at being bound by nature. All leads to the revelation of the one in many. A revelation of the one in many. Behind the huge masquerade, light grows, wisdom dawns, and the man's knowledge is lighted by the God's ray. So his nothing is vain here. You see, everything has been in the process of this summarization, evolution. Everything seems slow, but thing is going on as per the divine plan. The spirit is the in man communes with the eternal. Hence, once again, mother tries to explain. O death, all was plunged into the enigmatic night, but now all is ready to meet the genius, glorious Son of the Truth. Once upon a time, everything was actually seemed to be plunged into enigmatic light, but everything now ready to meet the glorious Son of Truth. This is the mystery of thy reign. In spite of thy mask, earth has been made for joy, not sorrow. He is destined to be joyful, not to be sorrowful. Then let us read a few lines. Then we'll go for the summarization. That beautiful. Of course, it is a bigger one. Couple of topics, cantos will find it is of course very much interesting and very much important, but bigger one it seems. So we can find here, O death, this is the mystery of thy reign in art's anomalous and magic field, carried in the aimless journey of the sun. So this is the mystery. Darkness occupied the fields of life, and the matter's world was governed by thy shape. Thy mask has covered the eternal space. The bliss that made the world has fallen asleep. The bliss that made all the world has fallen asleep. This is the reign and the death and but now the primal innocence is lost, and death and ignorance govern the mortal world, and nature's visage wears a grayer hue. All these things, actually, this bliss has the which that made the world has fallen asleep. Actually, we can go a little bit further. Sri Aurobindo, although God made the world for his delight, and ignorant power took charge and seemed his will, and death's deep falsity has mastered life. All grew a play of chance, simulating fate. Everything has been God made, but actually it is all occupied by we, by thy dread shape. Here again, Mother explains. Our hearts and bodies feel its obscure call. Our senses grope for it and touch and lose. If this we do, the world would sink in the void. If this were not, nothing could move or live. A hidden bliss is at the root of things. Already I have shown beautiful, brilliant lines, but actually we don't have any other option. But because we are in the process of summarization is here. A mute delight regards time's countless works. To house God's joy, very important. To house God's joy in things space gave wide room. To house God's joy in self, our souls were born. Then the all wonderful has packed heaven with his dreams. He has made blank ancient space his marble house. So he glides through heaven, shimmering in the moon. He is a beauty caroling in the fields of sound. So still there is a joy. There is a joy in all that meets the sense, a joy in all experience of the soul, a joy in evil and a joy in good, a joy in virtue and a joy in sin. So we can find then his greatness and his littleness equal are, his magnanimity and his meanness huge, cast on some neutral background of the gods. And they can find very interestingly, very good lines we can find. Oh death, it has been written nicely. Sri Aurobindo quotes, the heart that loved man thrills to the love of God right now. A lonely soul passions for the alone. A body is his chamber and his shrine. Just then mother actually claims, O death, I have triumphed over thee within. I quiver no more with the assault of grief. A mighty calmness seated deep within has occupied my body and my sense. So, see, mother then quotes who really she is. For I, the woman, am the force of God. He, the eternal's delegate soul in man. My will is greater than thy law, O death. My love is stronger than the bonds of fate. Our love is the heavenly seal of the supreme. So, Mother quotes that who really we are, and actually that's what we find really in the mother's voice. For love is not the love must not cease to live upon the earth, because love is the bright link twixt earth and heaven. Love is the far transcendence angel here. Love is the man's lien on the absolute. So about God, about Lord, everything has been described, explained by Mother, countering death's commitment and the statement. So let us summarize, and then we'll go for the, of course, death's reply. Our spirits breathe a spirit of secret air of pure felicity. Breathes a secret air of pure felicity. Without it, world would sink in the void. A hidden bliss is at the root of things. Because of it, in all things, there is a will to live, a joy to be. Danger and difficulty wed the irrepressible joy. Life brings adventure and thrill. The truth superhuman calls to thinking man, and the soul turns to the eternal things. There is a call, there is an answer. So there is a guidance. You can feel nothing. Man is not left. The world is not actually how do you really feel and see. Then we can find here the truth superhuman calls to thinking man, and the soul turns to eternal things, and at last immortal bliss looks upon the world, and poised on the breast of the eternal bliss, love comes into its own, and gathers the whole world into its shape. Then again, Mother Course, everything has been formulated, everything has been pre-planned. God is behind everything, all. So don't feel and see everything from outwardly or superficially. O death, I have triumphed over thee within myself. I can grieve no more. If I ask for Satyavan, it is for God's work on earth. For that we have come, Satyavan and I. We have come, there is a purpose, we have come with a mission. And to heal with bliss the unhappiness of the world, to fill with love the hollow of men's hearts. That is the purpose of our arrival. My will is greater than thy law or death. That also you remember. And my love is stronger than fate. Love is my sanction from God. Love is my strength. Then really God of death makes a reply. That's what we want to see. Of course, see how now itself the reply of God comes here. And O priestess in imagination's house, incredulous darkness sent its cry. O priestess in imagination's house, persuade fast nature's fixed immutable laws. First you obey it, and make the impossible thy daily work. So again, if then how shall thy will make the one, the true and the false? Where matter is all, their spirit is a dream. And if all are spirit, then matter is a lie. And who was the liar that forged the universe? That's what the question is put forward by death. And again, he who would turn to God must give up the world. He who would live in the spirit must give up life. He who has made the self renounces the self. That is the great argument. So, too early are the doors of man's escape. Death of his body, matters get to peace. Death of his soul, his last felicity. In me all take refuge, for I, death, am God. To him, actually, Savitri replies, my heart is wiser than the regin's thought. My heart is stronger than thy bones, O death. It sees and feels the one heartbeat in all. So again, we can find Lord again makes the reply. Art thou really indeed so strong, O heart, O soul so free, and canst thou gather them bright pleasures from my wayside flowering boughs? So that is surely, Savitri replies, surely I shall find among the green and whispering woods of life close bosomed pleasures, only mine for since he is. So then, if I linger, time is ours and God's. If I fall, is not his hands that near mine. So death again challenges. So prove thy absolute force to the wise gods by choosing earthly joy. So for self demand. Then Savitri, of course, replies to the vague power. If the eyes of darkness can look straight at the truth, look in my heart and knowing what I am, give what thou wilt or what thou must deny. Nothing I claim but Satyavan alone or death. Then there is approving some boons. Then I give to thee, saved from death and poignant fate, whatever once living Satyavan desired in her heart for Savitri. Bright noons I give thee and unwounded dawns, daughter of thy own shape in heart and mind. Fair hero sons and sweetness undisturbed of union with thy husband, dear and true. So, but actually, you go back. Two poles of bliss made one, O Savitri. Return, O child, to thy forsaken earth. Then there is a beautiful, great reply from the mother, Savitri. Thy gifts resist, earth can flower if lonely I give, because you have told sweetness unalloyed, undisturbed, fair of union with thy husband, dear and true. Earth can't flower if lonely I return. Then child's death to Savitri. That comparison. As a child, a lion is escaping prey. What knowest thou of earth's rich and changing life, who thinks that one man dead shall all joy must cease? Hope not to be unhappy till the end, for grief dies soon in the tired human heart. For soon other guess these empty chambers fill. Then Savitri replies, give me back Satyavan, my only lord. Thy thoughts are vacant to my soul that feels the deep eternal truth of intransient things. So let us first summarize, then we will go for the concluding session of our discussion really. So here we can find the gods, but the god of death replies, so do they men cheat themselves with the splendid thoughts, with the thoughts they cheat. Weave filmishly waves of ideals. The soul is the product of the flesh. That's what she tries to explain, not only to ordinary human beings, but to the divine mother. God is created in dreams. Recognize that thou art a creature of nature. Accept the futility of thy birth, truth is hard. Savitri replies, yes, I am human, but my humanity is a mask of God. By me shall men conquer thee. Death cries back, thou dwellest in the house of imagination. How shall thy will make one where the true and what is the false? Matter and spirit can never become one. Desist from this vain labor. Take refuge in me, for to all death is the last felicity. Savitri replies, my heart is wiser than thy reason, O death. My strength can carry the grief of the universe and yet never lose the calm of the infinity. I am sufficient. I know who am I. Love in me. What is my soul, my God, everything I know. Then death, are you really so strong, so free? Show me thy strength, thy freedom from my laws. Then Savitri replies, surely I shall find the way with Satyavan's hands in mine. I must prove it because I am that. Death, choose earthly joy. I will give thee all with thy soul, all that thy soul desires. Now a little bit actually bends. But my laws are hard and forbid the dearest wish. Satyavan can never again be thine. Then Savitri, if thou death can look straight at the truth, look at my heart and know who I am, what I am, and give what thou must, or I claim nothing but Satyavan alone. Death bows in disdain, like one who yields to the point reluctantly and replies, there is no other go, wants to approve something for her. I give to thee what the living once living Satyavan had desired for Savitri, worthy daughters, heroes' sons, felicity of days, I give to thee. That's what Satyavan desired for Savitri, for you. Love shall bind many hearts into thee. Return, O child, to thy abandoned earth. Then Savitri replies, refuses and replies, earth can't flower if I return alone. Death stands forth once more his angry cry, sends forth once more his angry cry. Should all the joy cease on earth because one man is dead? He does not tell who this one man is and with whom he really is actually having a debate. Grief does not dies soon in the tired human heart. Other guests soon fill the empty room. Savitri, Satyavan is my only Lord. Give back to me. Then death. Return, other men of beauty and strength and truth. Other men of beauty and strength and truth will appease thee, and one of them will replace Satyavan, who will soon recede into the past, glide into the past. Now, new loves shall push away the old. Savitri sixth. Thou mockest. I know beyond all doubt that he and I were the eternal bridegroom and the eternal bride. That without any question, without any debate, I know who are to wed before the immortal fire for the victory of heaven on earth. That's why we are coming, eternal bridegroom of the eternal bride. Why dost thou vainly strive with me, O death? The boundless members of the god shudder in silence. There is no other choice before him. As if overpowered by the secret ecstasy, the twilight round trembles like a bursting bell. So let us have a few lines description, original description, then we'll go. Then return to thy soul, return and try thy soul. Soon shalt thou find appease with that other men on this lavish earth shall have beauty and strength and truth. And when thou hast have forgotten, one of these shall wind himself around thy heart and that needs. Then actually Savitri and Satyavan shall glide into the past, a gentle memory pushed away from thee. Then Savitri's reply was like this: O dark, ironic critic of the God's work, thou mockst the mind and the body's faltering search. Then we can go. For now, at last, I know beyond all doubt the great stars be born with my unceasing fire. And life and death are both my its fuel made. Life only was my blind attempt to love. Earth saw my victory struggle, heaven my victory. Then we can find a letter, some few lines, and towards the concluding. Shudder in silence and obscurely stare. Ocean's dim fields delivered to the moon. Then all still compelled went gliding on unchanged. Still was the order of these worlds reversed. The mortal led, the god and the spirit obeyed. Now the reversal here you find. The mortal led, the god and the spirit obeyed. And the sea behind was the leader of their march, and they in front were followers of her will. So a heaven bird upon jeweled wings of wind, born like a colored and embosomed fire by spirits, carried in a pearl-hued cave, on through the enchanted dimness moved her soul. On through the enchanted dimness moved her soul. Death walked in front of her and Satyavan. In the dark front of death, a failing star. Above was the unseen balance of his fate. Let us come to the concluding part. That's what we want to see here. That glorious description we find. Then the boundless members of God shudder in silence as if overpowered by the secret ecstasy just we saw. The twilight around trembles like a bursting bell. Thus strive the great opponents with the armed speech. Speech fades away in the haze and the mist of that glimmering world. Savitri withdraws her thoughts and turns within into the chambers of her soul. That is the only fountain of her strength, soul. The procession continues. They march on. Reversing the order of the world, mortal Satyavan leads, follows the god. Savitri is behind both, leader of their march, and with them in front, obeying her will. She is the leader, she is the carrier. As per her will, everything continues. They journey onward through the drifting waves, all pleased as if perturbed by the clearness of her soul. Through that enchanted darkness moves her soul. Death walks in front of her and Satyavan in front of death. That is the scenario. Death walks in front of her and Satyavan in front of the death. Above hangs the unseen balance of his fate. Above hangs the unseen balance of the fate. That's what we want to see. Anyway, great description, great debate, great topic. Of course, we can find death walked in front of her, and the Satyavan in her dark front of death, a failing star. Above was the unseen balance of his fate. Vande Mataram.